All right, guys, welcome back to the, adjunct session of or additional session of the AI course. Today's pretty informal. There's nothing to teach. I'm just here to answer your questions based on you hopefully going and playing with ChatGPT and these tools on your own time now that you have some idea of how to use them in a way that will hopefully give you the results you're looking for. So I'm here to answer some of your questions, and then if you want, just let me know. And we'll take a look together here. I'll share my screen as I look at some of your homework and just kind of see what you did. If I see anything that I can help you with as far as improvement on your prompts or anything like that, I'll give that to you. And yeah, so that's what today's about. So with that, any questions?
Yes. So I don't know if this has got to do with limitations of the free version or non-free version. But Catherine Ann said, I'm wondering if I approached AI from the wrong URL. When I tried to have a 1,000-word article, I couldn't get anything above 650 words.
So that has to do, because I looked that up, and it's both paid and free. Because ChatGPT, OpenAI, the way they have a system called tokens. They turn words into what they call tokens, and you have a limit of how many tokens between the prompt and the output. So the reason I did 1,000 words was on purpose, because I wanted you to chunk it down. You have to chunk down. So get it to write an introduction. Okay, now you copy and paste introduction. Now you have the introduction to the article. Now have it write the 5 tips of cooking and ice cream. Now you have your 5 tips, you paste it over, write the conclusion. And so by the time you're done with that, you should have 1,000 words. And that would be how you bypass that limitation. If you try to do it all at once, you won't be able to do it.
I like that. So this is not in here, but it was in the Facebook group. So maybe you can address just exactly how you use the information that is output to how you verify it and how you go through the verification process of not only looking up the sources, but making sure that the information that ChatGPT spits out is correct.
Literally by typing it into Google. So let me see if I can get things set up here and just show you. I mean, literally just type it into Google and see if it's a real thing.
We can't see your screen now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, cool.
Let me, where is it? Oh, share screen, big green button. I believe it's this. Okay. Share. All right, do you guys see my screen here?
We see the black screen of ChatGPT Plus.
Right, all right, so I'm in a new chat. So let me maximize the window. Hey, ChatGPT, can you give me a few studies on the effectiveness of bacon for dieting? Oh, wow, I can't. That's fine. Okay, let's see.
There is a diet that's pure steak. Have you heard of this? Where they're only allowed to eat steak.
Oh, okay. That. All right. So, hey, ChatGPT, can you give me some research on the benefits of a carnivore? Yeah, carnivore diet. I think that is.
There we go.
All right, this is perfect. So, okay, so it's giving me some studies, right? Which is great if they're true.
Yeah.
So is it done? Yes. All right. So a small study published in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health in 2020 investigated the effects of a carnivore diet on cardiovascular risk. The study included, so it tells me about the study. So I would take this, copy, go to Google, 2020, I'd go back to ChatGPT, risk of or effects of a carnivore diet on cardiovascular risk. I'd copy that piece. So I have Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health 2020, because I want that year and kind of what it's about. And I search it on Google, see if it's true.
Are you able to zoom in a little bit, G, so we can see your screen?
Yeah. believe.
If you do like this on your keypad, it normally makes it bigger on Google.
There we
There
go.
you go.
How's that?
Yeah, perfect. There we go.
So I typed that into Google. Here we have red meat intake and risk of coronary heart disease among. Oh, but is that the right? See, I'm already having trouble finding
Study.
the study it told me
Did you
about.
put the word international? Because it had international in it. I'm not sure if you copied that over. It
You
said
know, I don't think I
international
did.
journal.
That might make a big difference. Let's just see what this is. So this was published in the British Medical Journal, which is the wrong journal. So what we can also do is just, I know the year. So let's just see if that's an actual journal, first of all, before we. So that is a real journal.
Ah,
So I'd go to the journal site. Is there a search somewhere here? So it's published just looks like once a year. So let's go to 2020. Oh, wait, not once a year. All right, so here's 2020. So it's a real journal. So let's see if ChatGPT can tell me more.
Rebecca said you can search the journal title at the top. Is it giving you the journal title? I don't
No.
see it. Yeah, because it's the same thing like what Liz was saying. They don't actually, it doesn't actually just copy and paste what the journal article said, right? It's actually like summarizing results for you type of thing.
Correct. May, so it's telling you it was May 2020. All right, so let's go to May, January, February, March, April. So it's going to be one of these two. Let's take a look at the table of contents. Probably this one because it has some food here. And the
Food, yeah.
cover. And so let's see if I see anything about carnivore diet.
Wow, gee, look at the side of your thing, how much is on there.
The side of my thing.
Like when you go with the scroller, look how
Oh,
tiny
right.
it is. No,
Right.
that just means that there's going to be so many of these.
Oh, yeah. Let's see if, and there might be a better way to search, but this is how I approach it, honestly. It still saves me time. So I'm not finding anything so far. So I would be very suspicious of said study, honestly.
Yeah. I see your baby coming.
Yeah.
I wonder if you go to search text, if you do carnivore there, what happens. Oh, you already have it there. That's right.
Well, that's in the title, so maybe search text would be better. All right. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything related to that publication date.
How often have you found this? Like that's.
Well, I don't trust it for facts, honestly. I use it more for like market research, and I'll still try to like more basic facts. That this is very specific. So let's just see if there's such a thing as a Journal of Medical Case Reports, because so far it's giving us bogus information that sounds very authoritative. So this is a real thing. It's a real journal. 2018. Oh, here we go. So here we found something. Turns out it's a different journal.
And there's 2,029 adults in this one, and the last one there was only 12.
Yeah, so when you get too specific, I guess in this particular case, it's not that useful because it's mostly fake information. However, Where it is good, and what I do use it for is like, just like at the example I showed you. Why is collagen beneficial for the skin? So I'm trying to get to a point where I would find something I would want to search.
I don't know. Ruth said if you check the references within the top article listed to see if any of the site, I guess that was the journal one, which we've now moved
Oh, that's
past.
okay. But basically, this is the process I would use, whether or not it's true or not. This is, I mean, for the sake of time, I'm not going to keep searching. But in this case, I would look for fibrilin. Is that a real thing? I would just type in fibrilin. Okay, so it is. And I would type in fibrilin and collagen. So it's a real thing, right? So in this case, I would actually read this now more intently, and use it actually in a promo, because now I can talk about fibrilin, and then I can now go to Google and look up studies and find journals about fibrilin. So it saved me time in that I've now narrowed down or zoomed in on fibrilin, and I would have never, to find fibrilin on Google just randomly, just searching stuff on collagen may have taken 2 hours, 3 hours of me just searching.
Might not have made the connection,
Yeah, to make that connection. And here I just found it right away. So that's where it saves you time. But I was still going to Google and search, okay, is that a real thing? And now I would start searching for studies. And then I would actually search for that on Google Science, which is more specific to research, or Google, I forget what it was. But anyhow, Google has a specific search for just research articles. So I would do that there. But here we have fibrilins and tendons. And I have a whole smorgasbord of research to go through on fibrilin, and I could talk about that in my promotion.
And then you'd use these Google resources as your resources, right?
Yeah, of course.
So to answer-
ChatGPT just saves me time by identifying the needle in the haystack instead of me trying to find the needle in the haystack with Google first, and then having to go through the process of researching that needle.
That answers Liz. They were saying Google Scholar is also good.
That's the one. Sorry, Google Scholar.
And then it's interesting, Mary Marie said she found that asking the same question several ways, she got borderline contradictory information. One response gave me that the inventor of cookies and cream ice cream, another response that there were conflicting accounts of who invented it. So I guess that's why we always need to verify. So, yep.
Yes, yep. Because remember, it's not a search engine. It's a natural language processing program that's designed to predict what words would come next to make it sound quote unquote natural, like a human would.
Alrighty, before we get into any homework, any other questions, pop in the Q&A. If you have any other questions. You already have volunteer.
Oh, I do. Wow.
For a review.
Okay.
If you want to start that process, I don't see any other questions coming in.
Sure. Who is it? Who's the lucky the Price is Right lucky
I
contestant?
don't know. I feel like I'm going to butcher this name. Moha, M-A-J-A, and the last name is Lazar.
M-A, hang on. So let me head over to Facebook. And so I'm going to Control F, M-A-J-A.
Yes.
Oh, there we go. All right. So here we have 3 assignments. So I'm going to have to actually stop sharing because it's going to open in Google Word. I mean, not Google Word.
A Word doc.
Microsoft Word. Because I'm just going to download them. Okay, so that's the first one. Download the second one. Where was it? Okay. And download. All right, so we just opened all three.
Have you had any experiences where it duplicates content verbatim by asking either the same or similar questions?
It's normally, it shouldn't be verbatim, it'll be very close. But it won't be verbatim, it shouldn't be. It might change like one word.
And then Mary Marie is asking, frequently got cut off mid-answer, often only 1 or 2 lines of information, so not a length issue. Is that common? She kept having to regenerate.
It can be if the prompt was too long. And each time you regenerate, it's in the same chat, it's going to go count towards, I believe, or it may count towards your 3,000 or whatever token amount it is.
It looks like in Jasper, you can select to show the Google source data.
Yep,
Rebecca
you
was
can.
saying. Cool. Do you know of any issues with word limits with Jasper? Dave is asking.
You know, I don't. Well, you have character limits on the input. I do know that, like when you're writing something, usually they'll limit you to like 800 characters, which is not very useful. But as far as their editor, I don't think so.
How much editing do you usually find that you do of a piece of AI from whatever it brings up?
Quite a bit, because I'm just using it for fodder. Let me share screen again.
Okay.
All right, so this is the correct one. So we'll start with the cookies and cream. So let's just take a look what happened here.
Let me zoom in a little bit, G.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let me know when to stop.
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay. All right, so let's take a look. Hey, ChatGPT, I'd like to try something with you. Cool. Okay, great. I want you to assume the role of a world-class blogger. Now, one thing to note, the ChatGPT doesn't do math. So even if you tell it 1,000 words, the output won't be 1,000 words. If you tell it to like cut something down by 10 words, like it, or make a tweet that's only X amount of characters, it'll come close, but not usually not right on point. So just be wary of that. It doesn't do math. It's not again, it's just predicting what words should come next. All right, so cookies and cream includes 5 fun. All right, so we started with an outline. That's good. So first, let's just see how many words this is. Just curious.
Looks like more than 650, no?
How many have I highlighted? 969. So see, it's not 1,000 words. So that's what I'm saying. Like it'll approximate it, but it won't do the exact amount. So that's why I was being tricky, because I wanted to see if you guys could figure out a way to get it right to 1,000 by giving it, you know, little bits and pieces here and there. But let's see. Let's just really quick scroll through this. So you see here, like this is where I would have, because here we're talking about ice cream sandwiches. So the assignment was, you know, 5 fun, interesting facts about cookies and, oh, this is cookies and ice cream. So the assignment was cookies and cream ice cream, right? So you have to pay attention to detail. So this is talking about ice cream sandwiches, the world's largest cookie. So it's not quite what we wanted, but I applaud the effort on just using it and doing the assignment for this one.
It's funny, that's I'm sure that was the member that mentioned that she's from Croatia, and I think that's something that can get lost in translation, right? Because
Absolutely, yes.
I'd never
Yes.
heard of cookies and cream ice cream flavor before coming to the States,
Fair enough. That's interesting. I did not know that.
right?
So now let's just take a look at her avatar assignment here, which was the second one.
That outline that was requested, Phil, as a question, was there an outline request or did ChatGPT just choose to begin there?
She chose, Maja, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, chose to begin there. She started with the outline and then she had it write the article. There's multiple ways to approach it, so that's the way she approached it. You weren't required to write an outline first. So this, right? So this should be fine because it's using the exact it's using the exact prompt I gave. So this is fine. All right. So now let's take a look at the ads. Share screen. All right, so good. Overall, this is fine.
How would you,
yeah.
would you be able to edit one on the spot for us to how you would change it?
Well, sure. Let's see. It might take a while, but let's see here.
Like we can even start with the headline. Do you think it's a good headline for a Facebook ad?
Probably not. Well, yeah, probably not. Visual.
And I don't think anybody describes their water as alkaline. Like, I want alkaline water, right? Like,
well, it's a thing. It's a thing, but I'm not sure that's what they're thinking, though.
Right?
Yeah.
Like when you're scrolling Facebook and you're like, you know what the problem I have today is I don't have alkaline water.
Yeah, no. So, like, for example, if I were going to rewrite this, I'd probably, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
And then talk about the problem first. And so in which case I would have made ChatGPT be like, okay, that's wonderful, ChatGPT, but I'd like you to rewrite the ad using a problem solution or problem agitate solution framework. So let's try that. So let's pretend I didn't, let's just show you how I do that. So reject change. Let me just reject that change. So let's take this. Let me copy it. So let's hop into ChatGPT. Where was I?
Anita said, I learned a lot when I do not chat with ChatGPT. It just only does what I ask it to. It gives very basic reply. What I learned is when I chat with it, it chats back with me. So it's trying to mimic humanness, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's its sole purpose, is to mimic what a human would sound and speak like. All right, so let me.
Have you ever gone over the 50,000 per word limit for Jasper? Per month, sorry.
Oh, per month? No, because I don't use it that intensely. Screen sharing has failed to start. Please try again later.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's like, stop sharing.
Yeah, chat doesn't want you to know that, or OpenAI doesn't want you to know.
Is it not? Let me share screen. Let's try that again. That was weird. No, it won't let me.
Oh, how strange.
Let me try. Let me try a new window. Share screen. Nope. Yeah, don't know why it won't let me.
Let me see. Catherine said maybe it's self-conscious.
That's funny.
Let's see if it's allowing me to share. I've never done a whiteboard share. Look at this, everybody.
Oh, cool.
Right? Okay, so obviously sharing is enabled. Okay, do you want to try again, G?
Sure. Right. Google Chrome. Click. Share. There we go. That's really weird. All right, so let's take what Maja wrote, or not wrote, but what she got from ChatGPT.
Okay, so you're asking it to you're saying you'll provide the copy, you need a problem solution framework. Okay.
Yep. And then
Are you able to zoom in on that, G, like the same way, like if you just do that? Aha, there we go. Okay, cool. You can see now.
you see how it changed it?
I knew safe was a better word.
See?
Yeah, the word safe. If you think about families, they're always thinking about safety.
So I would think that this, in my opinion, would be a more effective ad, and then I would edit probably this. Yeah. So this was the original. Clean and alkaline water, a healthier choice for your family. If I'm scrolling on Facebook, I'm like,
yeah.
Whatever. But this one, is your drinking water safe? Don't risk your family's health. I'm like, oh, is it safe? I don't know. Let me read more. Right. So that's how I would use this. You have to coax it. Like I said, you have to work with it to get the result you want, but you have to know what you want. That's the
100%. And I do think that that image of a mother holding cloudy water is a bad idea in that second one, because like, this is my drinking water. If it's cloudy, I know it's a bad thing, right? You want it to be like holding normal water and then be like, oh, you're clear, like water that looks good could be bad. But
True.
Lydia said this, right? Yeah. Lydia said the second version has a much better call to action too. Don't risk it. Get your under sink water filter today and protect your family's health with clean, safe, and alkaline water. Yeah, there, I like that.
That's pretty good. What was it before?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Under sink filter today.
Yeah. So like, or I mean, if you know frameworks, like.
Susie said vodka's clear. You don't have to spell out AIDA for it? Wow.
No, it knows. It knows. So this is a bit more positive, right? But I think it's still better than the first one. So this is why knowing, like, you just have to know what you want. And this is why understanding how you write is so important. Mm-hmm. These are things you normally don't think about as writers, but you have to understand it's like creating a what they call an SOP in business.
Yeah.
For your writing. So let's say you were going to hire a brand new writer to write a project for you, right? So you can outsource it. How are you going to tell that writer how you want things done? You're going to have to think through, well, how do I do things? Well, first I do this, then I do this, then I do that, then I do this, then I do that, then I do this to get the result of what I want. So you really have to understand how you normally would write an ad to then tell ChatGPT how you would do it so it could do it for you.
Yeah, I mean, even things like the 4Ps and like headline rules and regulations, and even knowing PAS and AID, right? If you haven't learned that and you don't know that, you don't know what the marker of what is a good ad or a bad ad headline, or even like we're talking about the call to action, right? Like if you haven't studied, then yeah, there's no gauge.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important. So cool.
Have you heard of scaleprompts.com? Michael says, I saw that they're offering a training program on AI for about $35. Just wondering if it's legit.
I have not heard of that, but that sounds cool. I'll have to check it out.
I do think everybody and their mother is using the AI trigger for a lot of people to sell whatever they have going on and attaching AI to this right now. So
just remember, it's just a tool. It's not gonna. It's only as good as the user. Like
100%.
a hammer can do lots of things, but it depends on who's using it.
Yeah, it can bash down your house or can build your house. Susie's asking, does it remember your process each time? So like that PAS and AIDA, are you having to input that every time you ask the question?
Yes.
And especially if you want different ones.
Yeah.
Anita said, I think telling ChatGPT what I want is like telling a waiter in a restaurant what entree I want versus telling them I'm hungry, bring me some food.
Exactly. That's a great analogy or metaphor. I don't know which one it is, but that's yes. You gotta know what you want.
Is asking again, can you please explain the tokens again? She's not very clear on what the tokens are.
Basically, like here, I'll show you. And maybe they'll explain it better. I still myself don't quite understand it. It's beyond my pay grade. Here, let me share my screen. So it's part of their pricing. If you're like a developer that's going to use their so it says you can think of tokens as pieces of words, where 1,000 tokens is about 750 words. This paragraph is 35 tokens. So they've obviously just created this thing called tokens, which is however many characters. And in real life, not real life, but in practicality, that works out to about 750 words. So that's probably the best answer I could give you, because they have like all their pricing here. If I'm a developer that wants to create like the next Jasper AI, I can use OpenAI's GPT model to provide that as a service to writers, for example. And so this is how much it would cost me to provide that as a service. It'd be 0.002 cents per 1,000 tokens. So hopefully that answers the question. It's not that important to know as a writer, except that you're going to be limited to how many words it can spit out at a time.
G, do you have any experience with DALL-E and using the images that it's created and putting them into a document? I got the content.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So maybe I bet you need a quick Google search or like a search on YouTube. Normally has an instruction for everything.
Yeah, I haven't delved into that just because there seems to be a lot more issues with copyright things, because it just seems to be taking images from artists, and I don't know. It's just until they clear all that up, I don't feel comfortable using it.
Cool. Refs is offering he's volunteering for analysis of his output and stuff.
Okay. Who?
Russ.
Last name?
Kuefler. So Kefler, I think.
Okay, so let me hang on.
Can you tell me the pronunciation is not my strong suit?
So files, Russ. Oh, okay. I see. He's submitted just recently. So download. Download. File number 3. File number 4. Okay, so let me open them up. So we have.
It was Kefler, but that you threw me off, Russ.
And I'm always sensitive about people's names because my name has always been mispronounced my whole life.
Oh, well, let me tell you, because this is a safe space, I'll tell you all that my maiden name is Moran, And I had teachers, like especially Afrikaans teachers throughout, and bullies throughout my school and career calling me Jade Moron. So
Oh
yes,
my goodness.
yeah, very. I used to dream of having a simple last name like Bell and like marrying somebody called Mr. Bell. Just- so you couldn't get my name wrong.
That's funny. You have a cool last name now. True Blood.
I know. I see. I married right.
Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at Russ's. Can you guys see that?
Yep, looks good.
All right, so he just went right for it and just asked that for a 1,000-word article on cookies and cream ice cream. All right, so let's see how many words he has here. Personal. Oh, hang on. All right, hold up. There's more to Russ's article here. Sorry. So he started off with this prompt, right? Okay. So the article's okay. Interesting. It's not quite correct. It says creamy vanilla ice cream with chunks of chocolate cookies. Well, I guess that, well,
Yeah,
I guess that
it
is
might have
correct,
started
right?
out with chocolate cookies, but hey.
True. All right, so it gave us this, and it's the same format that it just gives everybody, right? So let's take a look here. So he said, that's great, ChatGPT, thank you. Now please rewrite the same article. Instead of 5 fun or interesting facts, please include 5 useful tips. All right, so he's testing out the fun between fun and interesting. So let's take a look at the interesting tips. Add your own toppings to enhance the flavor. Use cookies and ice cream in your baking. That's interesting. I'm not sure how you would use cookies and cream ice cream in your baking.
Yeah, ChatGPT, tell us.
Yeah. Simply soften the ice cream and spread it in the bottom of a pie crust and layer it with cake for a decadent dessert. I'm not sure that qualifies as baking though. Make a milkshake. Okay. So this is why you have to be like, pay attention to what it's giving you. Experiment with different brands of cookies and cream ice cream. Okay. And then we have a conclusion. Okay. So like there's still room for improvement here that you can ask, ChatGPT to like, I don't know, maybe give you a new number 1 tip, because the tip is kind of, it's not that interesting, honestly. Add your own toppings to enhance the flavor. I could have thought of that on my own. This one seems a little crackpotish.
Yeah, I would not advise. I don't think you'll be seen as an expert if you advise people to bake with cookies and cream ice cream.
Yeah, so I'd probably rewrite like these two. So this is why I like, but I'm glad you did the assignment, because you see what it's providing you with, and it sounds good, it reads well, but when you really read it, it doesn't make that much sense. That's where you as the operator have to come in and be like, okay, that doesn't really make sense. Can you make this piece of it better? And then kind of Frankenstein together your article.
You can also just create a whole nother idea or article from this, because like, look, it tells you that it was started by Baskin and Robbins, right? And you can go down the whole rabbit hole of like, that something that seems like it was has always been universal was started by somebody or something original, and then just swiped by hundreds of other companies, and now it's just become an American staple, right? Instead of just having an article on cookies and cream ice cream, you have a whole new idea just from what it's output here.
Yep. And then if you look at the output too, it's only 580 words, right? So just pay attention to those things. It doesn't do math. So if you ask it for 1,000 words, it's not going to give you 1,000 words. So just be careful with things like that. That's why I made you guys, that's why I gave you guys a specific word count, because I wanted to see what you guys would do. And then, yeah, make sure you read through. Like me personally, I'd see that there's a lot missing here. So I'd have it write a new point number 1, a new point number 2. Then depending on what I get, I might have it expand number 1, expand number 2, or expand each one, honestly. And then based on those ideas, maybe I would add another section to fill out the 1,000 words. So that's the cookies and cream. Now let's take a look at Russ's other assignment here. What was it? The avatar. So let's see if we just use the same prompt or. All right, so next, could you help me create a customer avatar? Of course, creating a customer avatar can be a helpful exercise in identifying. It's like so kind. It's telling you all these tips. It's even telling you what it wants. Who is your ideal customer? Oh, it's just giving you tips on how to make a customer avatar. Okay. So then he's telling ChatGPT what he wants. And then we have everything else here, values and beliefs. Nice. Buying habits. And then he has it write a Facebook ad. Okay, great. Even gave it a brand name, Total Pure. Nice. And let's take a look at the ads. Upgrade your drinking water with Total Pure. Say goodbye to harmful contaminants and enjoy great tasting re-alkalized water with Total Pure's under the sink water filter. Our easy to install filter removes impurities and chemicals, providing your family with safe and healthy drinking water. Plus, with minimal maintenance, you can have peace of mind knowing your family is staying hydrated with the best quality water. Order now and experience the Total Pure difference. So not bad, but not great.
Yeah, not great.
Keep your family healthy. Again, kind of
Because in the headline of an ad, would you usually name the product?
No, because
right? You wouldn't.
No, because your prospect typically is unaware. So
Exactly.
using the stages of awareness, they don't know who you are. They don't care who you are. They don't know what you're selling. So you have to get their attention, right? That's why the problem agitate solution would be a good framework, or the AIDA framework would be great too.
Look at that third one. That's terrible. Total Pure, the ultimate solution for clean water. I would scroll past that stuff, especially if you want your ads to be native. Like, that's terrible.
This is a good example, though. I mean, it'll spit out and what seems like a good ad, but that's where you as the copywriter have to be like, okay, no, that's not that great. Let's try again using this input.
So. Russ said that you kind of skimmed past it, but it cut off the first version and he had to tell it to finish.
Oh, really?
As he said, it cut off after 1,000 words. Yeah.
Oh, because you were using the same chat. I would start a new chat, honestly, is what I do. So I would copy and paste what I want to use and then start a new chat. So
how funny is this? Eileen, she said that you said you wanted them to be creative. So she asked it to name 5 benefits of cookies and cream ice cream. And she said it actually came up with a good list of benefits.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that funny? Okay, so the next volunteer we have is Lydia Godfrey.
Okay, Lydia, let's search. Got it. Okay, so it just, oh, I see, it's just one file. Okay, cool.
Essie's got another question. Do you recommend we type the prompt, especially the long prompt, on a Word doc and then copy and paste into ChatGPT? How do you take care of typing the questions without hitting enter? Because once you hit enter, it just starts typing away.
I just use Notepad.
Oh, there we go.
Just as plain text formatting. And I just type it all in there, copy and paste. Exactly. Just easier and cleaner that way. All right, so here we go. So I'm just saying hello. Okay, so here's the prompt. Oh wait, no, here's the prompt. So again, we have the same create 1,000-word articles. Just remember, it doesn't know how many words are 1,000 words. So it gave us an outline. Okay. So let's see if this is 1,000 words. And again, you can see it's very similar to some of the other articles. And so that's where you'll want to use stop writing word limit. Yes, yes. So here's the prompt again. So now she's asking it to rewrite part 4. So now she's asking ChatGPT if it remembers the 1,000 word article it wrote a few minutes ago. And it's telling her, as an artificial intelligence, I don't have the capability to remember previous interactions or conversations like humans do. However, I can rewrite and review the article I wrote for you on Cookies and Cream. If that's what you need, let me know how I can assist you further. And she says, please review and retrieve the article you wrote for me on Cookies and Cream. It is titled Cookies and Cream Ice Cream, Their Ultimate Guide. So this is where it's not a database either, because she's asking it to retrieve something. And that's where ChatGPT is saying, I apologize for any confusion, but I'm an AI language model and I do not have the ability to save any previous work. Since our conversation was generated in real time, I do not have any record of an article titled, this. However, I can assist you with any questions you have about Cookies and Cream Ice Cream. So she says, okay, let's try it this way. The title of my 1,000 word article is Cookies and Cream Ice Cream, the Ultimate Guide. Can you give me 5 alternative titles up to the article using fun or interesting facts about cookies and cream ice cream that will entice people to read it? And so I gave her 5 titles. Okay, great. So I don't think we still have a 1,000 word article, but I like that you're working with it, trying to get what you want. So that's a great start. I would, just keep playing with it and know that the best way to get a 1,000 word article would be to have it write maybe the 5 tips first. And so you have your body section, then have it write an introduction based on that body to copy. Then once you have that, you can copy and paste all of that, then tell it to write a conclusion based on all of that. And then it will. So by the time you're done and do little chunks here and there, you'll have your 1,000 word article. So let's take a look here at part 2. So it's just using the same prompt.
She said it's in 2 parts. I got the second half and would put this 2 sections together.
Well, it's not quite an article though. You have Cookies and Cream Ice Cream inspired desserts and treats. Cookies and Cream Ice Cream has inspired many other desserts and treats, such as cookies and cream milkshake, cakes, and cheesecakes. That's not really a tip, right? So even if you did that, would the article be cohesive given what's in here? So we're talking about the role of air, emulsifiers and stabilizers, the role of fat in ice cream, science behind cookies and cream. So I'm not sure how you would connect the two, for example, here, right? The science of it with these fun facts. So it would still need some work to be a nice, cohesive 1,000 word article, I think. All right, so let's see. What was the... So this is the avatar just the same way that I gave you guys the prompt, which is fine. And let's take a look at the Facebook ad. So this one is very similar to one of the other ones we saw earlier from, I think, Maja or Maya.
Yeah, very similar. The Ditch the Plastic, that one we haven't seen, I don't feel like.
Yeah, that's a new one. Are you tired of buying and disposing of plastic water bottles?
No, that's good.
And then the control benefits. Take control your drinking water. Okay, so you see what it spits out if you just give it something more general, like now can you create one Facebook ad plus 2 variations to help to sell the underwater sink filter you wrote the avatar for? So this is fine. So, but now the challenge is, okay, so how can I take this and make it better? How can I take this and make it better? It's just a thinking process, just going through and thinking, what do I want? And then how do I get it? But good job, and thank you for doing the assignment.
We have Patty Hermes that is next to volunteer, PATTI.
Okay. Close this.
She said that she married an actual Greek god. So I'm not sure if her last name is reflecting as Hermes on the Facebook group, but the first name is Patty, P-A-T-T.
Okay. P-A-T-T-I. Oh, found it. Okay. So download. That was the first one. Second one. And the third one. All right. So now let me open them up. And let's take a look. All right. So we have, hello, can you write for me a 1,000-word article about cookies and cream ice cream? Imagine you're a college student living in a dorm. You have a strict budget and you want to persuade your roommates to eat nothing but cookies and cream ice cream for an entire week. Please include 5 interesting facts or tips as you answer the following. What are the different ways it can be served? How can it be a nutritious and economical meal replacement? The benefits of cookies and cream ice cream for the hardworking student. Entertaining visitors with cookies and cream ice cream. Add one additional interesting fact or opinion of your choice. So I like it. It's getting creative here in the prompt. You're telling it a lot more. So let's see what kind of output it gives. So as a college student, let me just zoom in case. So as a college student living in a dorm, it can be challenging to maintain a balanced diet while staying within a strict budget. One solution to this problem is to consider eating nothing but cookies and cream ice cream for a week.
At least it knows it's absurd.
Yeah, but there's many reasons. First, let's talk about the many ways it can be served. So this is funny, but I don't think anybody would take it seriously as an article. But I applaud the creativity. It's
the fact
fun.
that it said it's nutritious is scary.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, have we seen that one? The South Dakota, that seems like a new
That's a new fact. Yeah. So like
right?
here we only have 599 words. And yeah, you can see what was the South Dakota thing right here. So as for an additional interesting fact and opinion, did you know that cookies and cream ice cream was invented in 1983 by an employee of the South Dakota-based ice cream chain Dreyer's Grand Ice Cream? And earlier in one of the other ones, we saw that it was invented in 1970, I think, or something, for something else. So it just kind of makes up its own
difference. Yeah.
That's why you always want to check things on Google when you use ChatGPT for any kind of factual copy that you're writing. But yeah, I like the creativity. As an article, it's not quite 1,000 words, and it really wouldn't. I mean, it seems that it is a bit absurd, as it says right here. So I would maybe take that and then start tweaking it. Like, okay, hey, ChatGPT, that's a little too absurd. Cookies and cream ice cream being nutritious is not really a good tip. Can you give me other fun reasons why a college student can do XYZ? You know, so slowly but surely you just keep asking it in different ways to eventually get like a good cohesive article. So let's take a look at the customer avatar.
What on earth?
So act like an experienced. Don't know.
Looks like it's cussing at you.
I know. So that's fine. It's just using the same prompt I used. Okay.
Anecdotes. Have we seen an anecdote before on these?
I think in the examples I gave, there may have been some anecdotes.
That's just funny. It talks about water, but then this has a dishwasher.
Yeah, well, let's see. Samantha also remembers having to replace her dishwasher sooner than expected due to the effects of hard water. Okay.
Wow, I wonder if that's a thing.
I don't think so. Not for people that are looking for, that's more water, what they call it, water softening, water
Yeah.
softeners, not water filters. So, yeah, good practice. Let's take a look at the Facebook ads I created. I have a feeling it's going to be very similar. Let's take a look. Share screen. All right, so then we have thank you, well done. Now can you write a Facebook ad directed specifically to this customer? And then it tells us what the product is. And so here we have say goodbye to bottled water. Enjoy clean, healthy, refreshing water. Oh, she caught on. That's too short. Can you try again?
Wow.
And so she got a better result. The
Oh,
water
I
you drink
like that
matters.
headline. Yeah.
Yeah, meet Samantha, busy mom who cares about her family's health and environment. She's tired of wasting money and harming the planet with bottled water. I hadn't thought of that angle. But she's also worried about the quality of her tap water and potential health risks associated. So yeah, better.
Yeah, that's a
And then,
good.
yeah, and all she did was, that was too short. Can you try again? This time role playing as an expert copywriter.
And yeah, she did intriguing headline and emotional call to action.
Yep. So hopefully that shows you guys, like, just knowing what you want and giving it more information, it can give you better results. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously you'd still probably go back and edit this if you're going to use it for something for a client or anything like that, but. And then here she gives it more direction. Can you try one more variation? Direct it to the customer avatar. Please limit it to 100 words and call to action to be specific and time sensitive. And notice she said 100 words. Let's see. Do we have 100 words? So that is, it's 100 words. Wow. I got
Not
it.
if you do the headline, but.
Oh, true. It's more than that, but yeah, good job. Good job trying to keep working with it to get something better. It's kind of what you want to be doing.
Okay, we also have Mo Pittman, who is volunteering. We have 2 files.
Okay. If you guys have any questions, as I'm
Yeah,
doing this, feel free.
this is funny. It comes up very often. I'm concerned about plagiarism with ChatGPT. How do you handle this issue if it's a real copy for a client?
I'm not worried about it because I'm never just copy pasting what it gives me.
Yeah.
I'm always editing.
Yeah. And then Mary Marie, who put this question in the beginning when we were talking about like the variations of answers. She said,
Right.
Is it always so challenging to get a complete answer? But I don't know if you're ever looking for a complete answer from ChatGPT, right?
No, not unless it's just a quick answer to a short question. But if you're trying to create copy, you're usually just creating chunks or you're doing research, in my experience, is where it's most useful because it doesn't do long copy very well.
Yeah. And you're not going to keep asking it the same question. You're going to ask it a question and then verify the results type of thing.
Yeah, you can't keep asking it the same question because otherwise it's just like it's like when your password doesn't work and you try for the 3rd time, just harder this time, more intently. It's like it's just the wrong password. So it's not going to work, even if you type it in for the 3rd or 4th time, just more angrily this time. So it's the same thing with this ChatGPT. Is you have to approach it from a different angle. You have to think of a completely different angle, or not even completely different, but at least add something to it, subtract something.
Variation.
Yeah. All right. So good morning. Could you help me write an article today? Good morning. I'd happy to write an article. What topic are you interested in writing about? I would like to write an article about cookies and cream ice cream. Can you write a list of 5 interesting or useful facts or tips about cookies and cream ice cream? And it says certainly. And so now this time we have the fact that cookies and cream was invented in the United States in the 1970s. So hopefully you guys are seeing in real time, not real time, but you're seeing how it just makes stuff up, and which is why you always cross-reference with Google. Or if you're using Jasper, make sure you have the cross-reference with Google thing on, where it shows you sources.
You know what is funny is here it mentions that it's crumbled Oreo cookie, and then in that one it mentioned that it was chocolate cookie.
Chip, yes.
So if it was chocolate cookie, then it is actually an Oreo, but it didn't mention the Oreo. You know, so like a variation of like the same thing, but not specific.
Then that's where like it's up to you as the writer to catch these things,
Yeah.
especially if you're using it for client work, because it's just
And
going to
you-
spit out.
What is that thing called, G, that oh my goodness, the name is going to evade me now. He was at Agora at Money Map Press, Mike Ward, and when he used to talk about specificity, and he would like go deeper into like each description, and I forget what that's called, and it does seem like this lacks like some of the depth of description of like a human experiencing eating cookies and cream ice cream and what that's like on a hot summer's, you know what I mean? Like I forget what those that's called, but it lacks that.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called either.
I'm gonna do while you're looking at this, I'm gonna do my research and tell you.
Yeah, please do, because I don't know what that's called, but I know exactly what you're talking about. So the origin, then it gives us recipe variation. Not sure how that's an interesting or useful fact. Oh, wait, let's see. Okay, I see. I'd probably retitle this number 2 recipe variation to something more engaging. Texture. One of the funny things is the texture, serving suggestions, homemade recipe. So, I mean, these are good, but if I was being paid, let's say, to write an article, 1,000-word article, cookies and cream ice cream, and it had to have 5 fun or interesting facts, going through this, like the order of these facts just makes no sense to me. They're just kind of random. They're kind of haphazard, just thrown there. So I would really have to now think, what kind of tips do I want? So I can then tell ChatGPT, okay, that's great. Tell me more about this kind, replace the tips 3 to 5 with tips that are like this, if that makes sense. All right, so here we have continuing to work with ChatGPT. So here's the outline, right? It's good. And then we have an article that's approximately 1,000 words based on this outline and the 5 points you listed earlier. Okay, so I like the step-by-step approach you're taking there. So we have the title, Indulge Your Sweet Tooth, A Guide to Cookies and Cream Ice Cream. And so it starts off with a nice introduction with its cool, creamy texture and endless variety of flavors. Ice cream is a perennial favorite of children and adults alike, but one flavor stands out from the rest: cookies and cream ice cream. In this article, we'll explore the history, variations, serving suggestions, and health considerations of this popular dessert treat. So far, the article is making sense logically, like it's structured well. Then we have variations, serving suggestions. Yep, also hit the word limit, that's fine. But then he asked it to please continue, which is great. Health considerations. So overall, I think it's a good article. It's a good start to an article, let's put it that way. I would then go through, and depending on what kind of article you want, maybe you wouldn't have all these subheads. Maybe it would just be a normal article with nice transitions. So I might ask it to, instead of just having a subhead, try to create a transition between this paragraph and that paragraph, right? For example, this is how I would use it. And then a transition between this paragraph and that paragraph. So I could take out all these subheads and just make it one seamless article. But good job. I like that you split everything up and you did little, step by step. First with so his approach was to create the 5 tips first, and then he did the outline, and then he did the article. So nice.
Keith said I might be talking about transubstantiation. So that sounds professional, but I don't know if that's what
Yeah,
it's called.
transubstantiation is Mark Ford's thing,
Oh, it
where you
is.
turn something into more than what it is. So like a pencil, and now you call it this revolutionary tool that can assist writers and blah, blah, blah. That's transubstantiation. Like you're making it.
I feel like the word that it was more like it was about adjectives, and it was like derivative of adjective and like using like descriptive adjectives. But it's so funny because I found his rules for copywriting, and I think if anybody doesn't know, Mark Ward is like a very well-known, almost like editor of promos more than writer, right? Because he headed up a whole division. But he said, don't write cliches, don't sell anything in the first 5 pages. Just write a letter and tell me something sincere. It'll sell. Don't ever tell me something I already know by saying, you may already know this. If you're not excited, don't write it. If you're not passionate about finance and making money, go write health, because he wasn't financial. In the first 3 pages, do not try and create urgency. Create desire first. It's the only thing that counts. How interesting, right? But I digress. So if you want to parameter whether the copy is good, that there are some ways to think about it.
But that's excellent though, because see, like if you're thinking like a copywriter who wants to use AI to leverage, you would take each of those points and be like, okay, AI, I want an introduction that doesn't sell and does this, creates desire. Then, you know, the show don't tell, or I would take each of those rules and use that as a structure for my letter or whatever it is I'm writing. And now I have copy chunks I could stitch together.
Even if you think about these first 3 pages of creating desire, hey, ChatGPT, can you give me desires on blah, 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 and it lists them out, and you take that and transfer that into your first 3 pages, right? Like generating the ideas for it. Okay, so some questions. Sorry, so when Mary Marie was saying incomplete, she meant it types like 2.5 sentences and then stops mid-thought. So do you find that it does that, or maybe is that maybe again a restriction of a free version? Or
I haven't found that. Maybe it's just lagging. I have the plus version, which is faster, so I no longer have any of those issues, but maybe sometimes you just have to give it a little bit more time because a lot of people are using it. So
now, gee, I want you to look into your crystal ball. Do you think with the new ChatGPT advances, and when it comes out with a new improved version, the free version will disappear?
It might, because they're using this free version to do research and make the product when they release it for real, quote unquote.
And create an appetite, right? Because they've got everyone on hooked to it now. Yeah.
So I mean, and they may have a free trial. Who knows? Who knows?
Russ shared a article written by OpenAI, which I shared here. Susie said, yeah, they're playing us.
Yes.
Okay. Lydia said, please clarify about the word limit. I thought once you reached a limit, you had to start a new chat, but it looks like you hit the limit and it can just say, please continue.
Yeah, I would try both, see what happens.
Yeah, see if it gives you as good a
result. I write in chunks, so I don't run into those issues.
Yeah. Make your own comparison.
Yeah, and if I'm writing something longer, I'll even start a new chat for each chunk I'm writing, and I'll just copy paste from the previous conversation.
Okay, I haven't read this yet, but let's see. Nolan says, this may be obvious or not even known yet, but do you think that all this AI will end up automatically doing these things that we're emphasizing it can't, such as math, writing more human emotion, credibly sourcing facts, formatting? Just talking to AI about them, inputting these things, it's getting more experience with the questions and attempting in its results. Is that something the software developers have to enable?
I'm sure they will. I'm sure it's only going to get better. You have to remember, this is even not the final product. I don't know what the reason was they decided to pre-release it in this beta stage, but for whatever reason they did, but it's not the final product. This is still a work in progress. And even when they released ChatGPT 4, which should be the initial project or product, it's just going to continue to get better as technology improves. So eventually, I'm sure that yes, it will be able to approximate things like that and source things from the internet to make sure that they're true.
And I feel like don't you feel like no matter what, there's still going to be certain things that cannot do, like the strategy and like interviewing of humans, like if you think about case studies, and like no matter what, there are going to be certain limitations, which everybody here should be capitalizing on once they've mastered the skills.
Absolutely. Like, yes, that's what I preach. Like, this is just a tool for now. But yes, if all you know how to do is write short 500, 750 word articles that are mainly used for SEO purposes, then yes, you'll be in trouble, because ChatGPT can already do that. Not even at the finished product stage can do that pretty well. So imagine once it is at the finished product stage, yes, it will be able to replace you as far as that. So that's why I always harp on continually learning and learning as much as you can about digital marketing. Like, don't think of yourself as just a copywriter. Like, I understand that there is the romance of thinking that you're just a writer and you just idyllically like sit in this cabin and type away and get paid for it. And that's true. However, in order to know what to write and how to write it, you have to know all these other things when it comes to writing for profit, writing to persuade. You have to know your audience. You have to know in what way that, you know, this is being used. You need to know the stage of awareness that you're the person you're writing to. Obviously, these things don't apply to fiction if you're just writing fiction for the sake of writing fiction. However, they still apply even if you're writing fiction to sell fiction. If you want to write a best-selling fiction book, well, you have to know your niche, right? Maybe you write vampire horror mixed with romance or something, and that's your lane. But now you know who you're writing to, and you know everything about that genre, and what your audience wants, what they like, what they don't like. So I guess you still kind of have to know all that stuff unless you're just purely writing just for the sake of writing.
Yeah, and
so
even
when
funnels, right? Because like funnels can be overlaid with awareness. You the ChatGPT is not going to know what came before and after whatever you're writing, but you can ask that question, or you can know that.
Exactly. Like, for example, all right, let's say I'm a company, I'm launching a product and I want a funnel, a marketing funnel. So I say, hey, ChatGPT, I have a company that sells water filters. Can you write me a funnel? Like, of course I can't, unless I know exactly what each piece of that funnel is and what it's supposed to do and what it's supposed to say. They can't do it. And it can't for the foreseeable future, because that's just too many variables that are unknown for it to be able to do anything that resembles good marketing.
And getting comfortable with looking at results and changing accordingly, right? Because again, and you can input that into ChatGPT, but you can't be like, this didn't work well, so let's try and change this without instructing it. So
yeah, exactly. It'd be like asking ChatGPT to be your coach. It'd be like, hey, ChatGPT, I'm kind of feeling this way. Can you help me out? Do you know why? Of course it can't tell you why, because it doesn't know you. It doesn't know what to ask, like maybe a psychologist would or a therapist would. Like it just won't. It doesn't know. You needed that strategy, that experience, that thinking behind all of it to know what to ask to get what you want. So for the foreseeable future, I don't see it being able to do that, because that's just too complex of a thing to do, which is why you're valuable as a writer if you know how to do all that.
Yeah.
But if all you know how to write articles, then not so much.
I even feel like niching, right, is now so much more important, because like it's so funny when we were even just talking about the baking stuff, we had a few bakers chime in about like, oh no, you actually can bake with ice cream and this and this and this way, but unless you're like an expert, and even what is it, a baked Alaska was mentioned, which I didn't even think of, right? So like it shows where being an expert in your niche even comes into handy before you start researching, because without any expertise in a field, research kind of means nothing, right? You can interpret it all the wrong ways still, even.
Oh, for sure. And like if I was really going to use that baking with ice cream, I would probably first go to Google and be like, can you really bake with ice cream? How does that work? Because are they meaning not like shove in the oven and that's still term baking? If so, then okay, fine. But then I would explain that in my article, because I can't assume my audience knows that, depending on who the audience is.
Yeah. And again, there's your awareness, come all the way back around. Right? If they've bought the whatever baking tool, and that's why you're talking to them about baking, to like give them recipes post-purchase, then they obviously know and understand. But if they're coming onto your site for the first time to learn about baking, because they're in the beginning of the funnel, then they have no idea.
Right. But this is where you got to be creative with it. So let's say you have a baking email file and you want to engage them. All right, now every day, maybe I say, hey, ChatGPT, can you give me one unique tip about baking today. And now I know what to write my email about.
Yeah.
I don't have to
Yep.
sit there for an hour thinking, I don't know what to write. What do I send these people? I'm writing them every day.
Cheryl said we have to protect our clients if they retain a copyright because the bot created content is not copyrightable. That's one role for the professional to know how to use ChatGPT as inspiration, but not final product. What do you think?
I actually, these are things I have not thought of, but I guess that makes sense because it's open AI, right? So how would you copyright something that's quote unquote open? I don't know. I'd have to do some research, but that's why I always edit what I get, no matter what.
Again, we know that it's not producing the best quality content. So you want to produce the best quality content, and that's, you know, if you're driving from that intention, I feel like you're going to get better regardless, you know, even if your intention is not copyright per se, you know, just the best content. Yeah.
That's the thing, intention. What intention are you coming at it with? The way I use it personally for me is it just saves me time on research and it helps me generate ideas. Because I'm terrible, like, because I do tend to be a perfectionist. So every idea I think of when staring at a blank page, I'm like, no, that sucks. No, that sucks. So like an hour will pass and I've written like maybe one word. And so that's by having ChatGPT help me, I can get past that far quicker.
We did have another volunteer for exercise review, and that was Elizabeth Roy, if you have time for another one.
Sure. We got till 2 my time, so
Yeah.
I'm here for you guys. Let's see, assignment 1, 2, 3.
Oh, wow. Chad said there are currently ebooks with the co-author listed as AI. I got to say, I would steer from those before buying them, right? Like, I don't know, maybe that's just my old school.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't, but
yeah. I won't even use a Kindle.
All right, so here we start off with some product research on cookies and cream ice cream. Okay. So I'd like to know what kind of consumers purchase cookies and cream ice cream.
Yeah.
And so we have age, gender.
I think like male is cookies and cream eater. Like it says the young adults and children.
Oh, true.
So funny.
Gender. Okay, so we have an avatar. So I like how she's going step by step. She's starting with, you know, who she's writing to, the audience, who that is. This is still kind of who you're writing to. Now we're getting to the writing.
How funny that the different creator again, Gene. See that?
Oh, 1978.
Yeah, John Harrison, manager of a small ice cream partner. Good gracious.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust any of that, but
yeah.
But you know what, though? It gives me ideas because I don't care if it's fake.
Yeah.
Because now I would have never thought of this. In 2019, cookies and cream was named the second most popular ice cream flavor in the United States. So I would go to Google and be like, are there polls, national polls about what America's favorite ice cream is? And that might lead me down another idea, right? I would have never thought to think, do we have national polls about what's the most popular ice cream in the United States? So I'd go and search for that. And then same thing here, I'd go search how was cookies and cream created or invented? And that would lead me down another hole and give me a lot more ideas.
I want somebody to write an article about why just being vanilla can get you to be the #1 in the United States. I would have never guessed that vanilla is #1.
Oh, is it really #1?
Look, it says there. It's the second most popular.
Oh, behind vanilla. Okay.
Behind vanilla. You just got to be vanilla to be #1.
So here we have the useful tips.
The serving. Oh, affogato. This is a genius one.
I don't even know what that is. So I'd go to Google and search what is an
It's-
affogato.
It's a scoop of ice cream with an espresso shot poured over it. And if you haven't had
wow.
it, you're not living. It's
I
so
have
good.
not tried that.
It's so good.
But see, it's giving you some good ideas now because she's gone step by step. And so you'll notice that a lot of these, the order that's giving it to me makes a lot more sense. It flows more naturally. And they are kind of interesting. Like, you know, this whole affogato thing, I did not know that. So now we're asking it to write the article, right? In this case, we're going a step further. Please provide a unique and engaging title and use 2 appropriate SEO keywords in the title. When doing SEO stuff, you want to tell it what keyword to focus on.
I say, does it tell you? Oh, look, it's used cookies and cream and ice cream for keywords.
I guess if you're going for that, great. But ideally, you would tell it.
Yeah, because that I bet you that's so hard to rank for.
Yeah. Like a pro. I'm not sure that makes sense, but okay. It'd be cool though if you could be a professional cookies and cream ice cream eater.
I'd say my daughter would be leave home if that was an income producer.
Flavor.
Yeah, see that one cut off at the end.
Yeah, it did. So that's where I would just start a new, fresh. I'd copy probably all this stuff and start a new chat with it. So here we're asking it to keep the same title, SEO keywords, and tone follow AP style. This is sure. So here we have a new title, Get Your Scoop, Discover the Sweet World of Cookies and Cream Ice Cream. And so you have the history. And we have the fun facts, serving tips. I'm just curious again. You know what it could also be? Maybe it does know how many 1,000 words are, and it just ran out of space, so it's just doing however many tokens it can use. So this one's 598 words, so not quite 1,000. I don't think anybody's given me 1,000 words yet. Hi, ChatGPT, can you give me some help with creating an avatar for the company sales and sync filters? Okay, so that's this, so that's fine. And then let's look at the ads. So our avatar is Healthy Hannah, who's a yoga instructor. Oh, that's nice. She's asking, now would you help me with a thought experiment to help me understand more about Healthy Hannah's emotional reasons for purchasing an underwater sink filter? I like this. This is a nice little addition here. So sure. So here's an example. So imagine that Healthy Hannah has just finished teaching a hot and sweaty yoga class. She's feeling parched. She fills up her water bottle from the tap in the studio's kitchen and takes a long drink. As she drinks, she notices a strange taste and smell in the water and begins to feel uneasy. She remembers hearing about the harmful contaminants that can be found in tap water. Not the most compelling story, but okay. I like the thinking. List the fears that motivate Hannah. So we have the fears, fear of illness, not being in control. So here's what she wants from purchasing a water filter. Again, here we have the frustrations. emotional desires again. Now, if she's a renter. Okay. And so now the Facebook ads, let's see if these are any better with all this information.
So funny that it included in your rental home.
Yeah. Which might be great if it's specifically targeted to renters. But
I mean, that would rather be something like don't own your home, but still want safe drinking water, right? Like versus.
That would be better. Is this
that.
is this
Again,
is just like a statement. There's no curiosity.
Yes.
There's no benefit. Oh, the benefits get clean and safe water, but the big assumption there is that I understand that that my water is contaminated. I may not be aware of that. So.
And you're giving away the product in the headline again.
Yeah.
Without, even though it's not naming it.
Yeah, so you see, this is why it's so important to understand digital marketing, because if you don't know like stages of awareness, market sophistication, you might be like, okay, that reads well, great. Let's just use that as an ad, but not realizing that it's missing all these little nuances.
And it's funny because we also talked about last week that it doesn't hit on pain points, right? And you could even say something in there like, you just, even though you don't own your home, you still deserve the same cleanliness, like hit on the possible pain point that they're not a homeowner, but they want equal rights or equal whatever to a homeowner.
Yeah. Sure. And you could talk about how your landlord's not going to do anything about it because that's not it's not on the lease or something. I don't know. There's lots of approaches you could take, but you have to understand selling and persuasion. So good job. I like the thinking in the prompts. Unfortunately, it didn't give that great of an ad based on all that. So I'd go back to the drawing board. Me personally, I would go back and try to get it to get me something that's more closer to what a human copywriter would write.
Eileen is asking if you chose cookies and cream because it's your favorite flavor.
Oh yeah, and just to make it fun.
I just asked Bing Chat to count the words in the last reply, and it could. That asked me why. Then it asked me why I asked. How funny. Wants to know why.
In that case, it's also using. I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe they fixed that.
Eileen is asking how long a Facebook ad can be. I would Google that because I feel like those rules change every single day, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but if you think about a Facebook, like, I mean, I am not the person to answer this, but gee, maybe you know a little bit. But from what I understand, you want it to look like a post that you, Eileen, would just post on Facebook, right? You want it to look, for the most part, native. So whatever posts like length and stuff that you put on Facebook, you would want it to look the same or have the same length, despite rules and regulations. So.
It depends on the market you're going after, an audience you're going after too. It depends on the type of product, because you can't really write a long thing if it's like you're selling leggings, right? It's just like, here's a picture of the product, here's why it's great, go 10% off coupon, go buy, versus something that requires more explanation.
Yeah, like this water one required education because not everybody's aware that their tap water is contaminated, even though it looks safe and clean and all the rest of it. Ross said, do you like spunky products? In his email course he wrote about cat wine and polka dots and dog sneakers.
It keeps it fun versus just like the main three, which is health, wealth, relationships. Those are the main markets, but like, let's get creative, because otherwise you're just learning about, pretend Sally's trying to lose weight or Joe's trying to lose weight, write to them, as if it's just kind of like, I want to flex your creativity muscles.
Yes, the ball's rolling here. And it also shows you can write about anything to flex your writing muscle, Well, we've cleared the questions. Any other questions, guys? We still have 30 minutes that we can use to have G here. Maybe if you even haven't volunteered yourself, like, what was your experience with ChatGPT? Did you enjoy it? Did you find it difficult? Anything like that you want to share with the group? How So it's
Yeah. Do you see yourself using it for client
yeah,
work? Are you still afraid now that you've used it and seeing what it can and can't do? Or
yeah. Let us know. You can do a therapy session. Russ was going to use ChatGPT as a therapist. Use us. It's so funny. I wrote this in one of our groups, but we really do have a Monday morning jumpstart coming out, G, on perfectionism. And Marcella said that was like the one thing that she wishes she could teach herself when she started out, to let go of the perfectionism, because it gets you so much further, so much faster.
I agree. Yes. You have to give yourself permission to write crap.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that. Yeah, because look at what this thing is spinning out. Dan said, I already feel better. And Patty said, I love using it, even though it's a lot of energy, can't edit a blank page.
Yes.
Nora said, I have to play with it. I don't understand Google Docs, but I find it fascinating. I mean, and you don't have to use Google Docs. You can use Word, you can use, like she uses Notepad, whatever you want to use as like your writing or your writer. Is Jasper just ChatGPT with a specific layer made by Jasper?
All of these AI writing tools, for the most part, are exactly that. They're all using AI, OpenAI's framework, architecture, whatever you want to call it, learning model. All of them. They just each have found a specific kind of way to niche it. So
Yeah.
One's more for e-commerce product descriptions, one's more for social media, like branding type posts, one's more for, I forget what the other one, copy AI, Surfer. I mean, they're all kind of geared towards, layered with this specific lens through which to view that.
Yeah. Sheila said, I think AI can be useful to save time, but you need to know its limitations, how to use the prompt, and how to get the best outputs. Hence the class, right?
Yep. And ultimately, it comes down to your thinking. Just become a better thinker, which comes from just learning as much as you can.
And you're very well read, G, and I don't mean literal books. Like you keep your eyes on the pulse of like what is going on. So any tips for doing that?
Sign up for lots and lots of email lists, or set up Google alerts for different topics that you're interested in learning.
And you do those outside of your niche, or do you try and focus within your niche, or do you just sign up to every and all things?
I just have lots of different interests. So I have all sorts of emails that I get in all sorts of areas, from ranging from stocks, crypto, to programming, to health and fitness, to physics, quantum physics, to just everything.
That's awesome. And because I feel like when you do that, ideas transfer, even though not literally, or but you can draw an idea from one that goes across to the other.
No, absolutely.
I love this. Catherine Ann said, I recently got a new client, NGO Food Bank and Resource Center. I used ChatGPT to help generate some ideas for blog posts.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Right. Catherine, tell us how the client is going. Keep us up to date with the success you're getting. Russ said, I asked ChatGPT why it was sexist, and I asked it to write an ad for USPS in the voice of Charles Boriski. In case you want to look at those, they're all in the AI group. Okay. Mara Rose said, someone just emailed me access to Notion AI, whatever that may be. Do you know what that is, G?
Yep. Notion is a great tool. I use it. So
she said, I enjoyed getting ChatGPT to generate outlines, headlines, and writing prompts. Chris said, I do believe I will use ChatGPT. Awesome. And it's a useful tool in my arsenal. Perfect. Keith said, the avatar and ads went pretty fast. Doing the article requires more steps and learning how to do it well. Taking things in small steps seems like the way to go, a good opportunity to understand what I do.
Yes, it really forces you to become self-aware because you have to be like, okay, how do I do that? How do I get the results I normally get?
AI might be smart, but it'll never know the it'll never know the taste of cookies and cream. But I love that too, because it's so true with everything, right? Like when we talked about, and I found a thing, it was where Mike Ward said, live in a world, write and live in a world of specifics. And like the senses and experiences that you can reiterate is something that it'll never be able to do, right? Because it's never sensed something. It can't convey that feeling that you have from doing this thing. Eileen said, it's pretty amazing. I used the residents of East Palestine for the water filter, and originally had the avatar be the members of the city council of the East Palestine, but thought it was too far off the beaten track for what the written design was. But in the end, I was surprised by how compassionate it was in its response. Wow.
It can be, yeah.
Dan said it was fun to play around with ChatGPT. The interaction helps refine questions. That's good. One needs to know how you want to guide it. And yes, there are limitations you need to evaluate.
Well, it makes you a better writer too, because when you write your own work and you go back to edit it, you can look through it through this lens. Like, is my language concise? Does it make sense? Does it make logical sense? Have I, dotted my I's, crossed my T's, or whatever it is? And like look at those smaller nuances that maybe in the past you didn't look at. But now, because ChatGPT is forcing you to, you can now see your copy through a new lens.
Nicole said, I love using it for research and brainstorming. However, 2 days ago, I was trying to use it for our assignment and it gave me an error message and refused to give me anything. Oh, except for a recipe for cookies and cream ice cream. What time was it? The time of day, do you suppose? This was midday Monday she was trying to do this.
It could be, because I also sometimes get that error and I just keep trying and eventually just works. But I've gotten that error too a few times.
Shalom for beginners in the freelance marketing writers. Sorry, could you say it again about the books of copywriting that you mentioned? So maybe she's asking about recommendations for copywriting books for freelance marketing writers. Any books you recommend?
Books, Breakthrough Advertising, Eugene Schwartz, specifically just those 2 chapters on market sophistication and stages of awareness, which honestly you could just look up online and just read it for free. Not the book itself, but just the explanation of what those things are. Cashvertising is a good book on copy and kind of the essentials you need for persuasive writing. And then honestly, if you can get past, if you're offended by, if you just get past, like if you're just offended by, what's the word? I don't know. The Gary Halbert letter.com is a great resource. If you just study his writing, don't focus on, I mean, he's passed away, but don't focus on the person or the personality, just focus on how he writes and how he persuades. And that's an excellent also study in marketing and copywriting. I'd say those, and that's free. I'd say those are the 2 main ones, and then the cashvertising book.
Cashvertising?
Cashvertising, yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody rec that one, so that's cool.
It's good.
Russ, this is interesting. He said Google Alerts is getting me traction on LinkedIn. Wow, I wonder how that ties together, and if that is for your personal business or not. Mary said, gee, have you used Content Edge, which has SEO already in its software?
I have not. I've used Surfer SEO. I'm sure it works, probably works the same way.
For ChatGPT, does the paid version use more recent data?
Don't think so. It just is faster at giving you a reply.
Gosh, oh, you were using the paid data, I was going to say, because yours was so fast. Lydia says the AI classes have definitely been helpful, got me over the fear of using, the fear of ChatGPT unknown. Love that. And using it gave me a feel for how I can come up with ideas, headlines, outlines. No more blank page syndrome.
Good.
This is interesting. Mari says, I got it to generate poetry and found it to be a little bit too formal. even when giving it the word feeling, which I found interesting, that it even used the word feelings. So when you asked it to have more feeling, it just used the word.
Just use the word. Oh, a book recommendation, if you want to be able to write more in feelings than showing, not telling, would be The Emotional Thesaurus. It's a good book. It's mainly for songwriters, but I found it's a good book if you just want to write in a way that's more descriptive versus just saying he was mad. You can just describe what the person looked like or they were doing, and then the reader can infer that they were mad. So it's a good book that where you look up the emotion and then it gives you examples of ways to describe that emotion.
So then the question is, do you write songs as well as play the guitar?
I have, yes.
Next class. Okay. I know this has been touched on, but can we revisit the connection between the Bing search engine and AI? Do they work together? I was updating my computer and used Chrome, but wondering if you recommend updating to default browser to Bing.
I haven't. I just don't see the need for it. If you want to, you're more than welcome to and try it out. I haven't really played with it.
Do you know the connection between Bing search and AI?
It's all owned by Microsoft. Well, Microsoft is the largest, I think, investor in ChatGPT or OpenAI.
Patty also does what you do. She said, I have one email dedicated to newsletters. There must be hundreds of them, and I unsubscribe from the meh once a week. I love what is it called? Marketing Brew. Well, Morning Brew and Marketing Brew. It's, you know how I found they're really good at like subject lines. Like I'll often send like our marketing team like their subject lines because they all like very often make me open them. Like they'll use like song lyrics and like funny things like that grab your attention. They're very good at that.
Yeah, that's a good example of how to write well and how to write native ads. Actually, their ads are really good too, because you don't realize you're reading an ad until they're asking you to click on something. They're, oh, I just
or when you
see
sponsored by, right?
Yeah.
Max said, observations about ChatGPT, it doesn't really care about word limits, and it writes your outline very serially, doesn't think about including all elements of the outline and before the word limit is reached. Therefore, G's approach into writing chunks is the way to go.
Yes. But in order to be able to do that, that's why I keep harping on, you have to know context, have to know digital marketing, and you have to know what you want, because you have to know that framework in order to get those chunks.
Also, I like how ChatGPT forces you to define some of your SOPs.
Yes,
No, those
it
in the
does.
first place. Yeah. Have you read the New York Times article recounting the conversation a journalist had with AI? It went on for hours and ended up with AI falling in love with him and asking him to leave his wife.
I am not.
Sounds like a different type of AI. Is Jasper worth the high monthly cost?
If you're just starting out, probably not. But you can try it out and see for yourself. Don't let me dissuade you, honestly. I think you'll have to put in a credit card, but it is a free trial.
I also just feel like if you like with business acumen, you can think of the more is coming in, the more your tool costs go up, right? Like the more you have to play with going up. So if you're worried about the cost of Jasper, you shouldn't be getting it, because you should be worrying, like making enough money that cost does not become a worry for you, basically.
Yeah, it depends where you're at too. Like if you're just starting out or you still need to learn more about digital marketing, spend the money on learning more about digital marketing, because that's going to serve you a lot more than right now than that tool.
So I'm not sure if Eileen understands SEO, but she's saying, how does AI compare with SEO? Can you get the same result but from a different method? So I think there might be confusion here what SEO is.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that question is. Where you can use AI for SEO is like Surfer SEO, where it has a built-in kind of like essentially like a Word doc or Google Doc, word editor, or whatever you call it, word processor, that's the word. It has a word processor, and you can tell it what keyword you're targeting. And then based on that keyword, it can give you multiple other keywords that are related to that keyword to help you rank top in the search engines. And it guides you by telling you, like, you should have it in this many subheads, you should have this many words, you should have it here, you should do this, you should do that. So it's super useful.
And sometimes with SEO, the hardest part is finding like the right balance of the keyword, right? So maybe that's where AI could help you generate ideas to think of keywords. I don't know, just spitballing of things, but you know, to where you're then using those, like if it has like derivatives or something along those lines, depending again what you're asking. But it's a possible tool. Russ said there was an original Twilight Zone episode where the computer fell in love with the programmer.
Was there?
Maybe the New York Times articles all made up.
Borrowing from that.
I don't see any other questions. If anybody else, oh yes, let's see what this one is. AWAI is now viewing the learning of copy and content writing career evaluation as 5 stages. Yeah, there are 3 to 5 stages. Okay, so this is and I don't know if you've seen this maybe somewhere along the lines, but you've been privy to like our 5 stages of a copywriter. So the first is like before you've even started and you're learning, right? Basically, and then you're learning the industry, you're learning a skill, and you're learning how to find a client. And then the second level is basically when you're building your business and you're ready to go out and you're ready to find clients. You've got the skills, you know how to find a client, and now you're ready to go out and you find that client, right? Then you start becoming like a what is the word I'm looking for? Consultant and a prescriber, and you are telling the actual client what you think that they should do, right? And then above that is like strategy. And then the 5th level is where you really start building wealth and legacy and taking the skill of copywriting and going beyond billable hours. And, you know, so Ron is asking, do you think that in levels 3 to 5 is the levels that we would need to fear AI the least?
Yes.
Right? Because those are all the things that we're saying you got to try and get up to, and you got to try and do, because AI cannot do those things and we can't foresee them doing those things. Being a consultant, being a strategist, thinking about legacy and ways to build.
And this is how you have to think of yourself, I think, anyway, if you want to become a successful copywriter. Because it just helps you bring that much more value to the table.
Yeah.
And regardless of what niche too, because B2B, I think Gordon Graham recently had an article on the 5 best questions to wow your client. And they're all based on kind of that idea that he's being the consultant. Like, do you know, like one of the questions was, do you know how you're going to use how are you going to get traffic to that white paper? Well, how would he know how to ask that question if he didn't understand digital marketing?
And I will tell you guys, I've been very, very privileged and lucky to be on very many marketing kickoff calls with G, and nobody asks more or better questions on a marketing kickoff call. And he's the copywriter on those. So he asks brilliant questions, but that's how you get to those nuggets that you use in the promotion. And like we talked about in articles, it's so true. G was using AI for years and we didn't even know, because he was producing as high level quality content and promotions as prior, right? You were just doing it faster and easier. So that is that, everybody. Are we any last questions from you all? I will remind everybody that I don't know how long it'll probably take us like a few months, but we are going to be transferring all of this information into like an evergreen course that you will all have access to because you purchased this, or because you're a Circle of Success, or because you're Infinity. So that will be coming in the next few months as a part of this. Can you show us those calls? I'm not sure what calls you're talking to about. Oh, no, I don't think they'll ever share the marketing calls.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah. Well, G, let me ask you this. Do you have a few questions that you always ask when you're on a call? Say AWAI was new client to you. Any things that you do that are like standard questions for you?
Nope. See, how do I put this? So I like jazz. I played in high school jazz bands and college. In jazz, you improvise. Much of it is improvised, right? How do you improvise? Well, you have to understand the fundamentals of music theory, chord structure, song structure. And if you understand that, then you can improvise a melody right on the spot. You don't have to have anything predetermined in your head because you're following, you understand the context of that particular song. So it's very much the same way as improvising. I come in as a blank slate. I don't have any predetermined notion of what I'm going to ask. I just literally show up to the calls and pay attention, listen, and be curious. And then based on that, I might catch a little thing that they say, the expert said at the very end of a 5-minute answer, they might say one little word like towards the end. I'm like, that, okay, tell me more about that, please, because I'm just looking for the context. I'm trying to understand the context of what it is we're doing. And then I zoom in, I zoom out, and I zoom in, and I zoom out, try to get the context, and I zoom in, trying to understand what the product is and what makes it unique compared to everything else that's out there, and why the audience would find that particular product better or more interesting than what's out there.
Because I was going to say, that is one thing I feel like I've heard you ask repeatedly. Like, so we also have the product creator on the call, and she will ask, what makes this different from anything else that you've either created before or that is out there already, right? Why this, why now? You know, what is the reasoning why anybody would want this now? And then to marketing, you'll always ask, like, who all is this going to? If it's the first time we're doing this particular type of promotion, I've heard you say that a lot. And yeah, I think those are the only ones I really hear you repeat.
Well, also there's key things, like you have to understand that conversion, getting somebody to buy, has a lot to do with the offer too. So like, what is the offer? What's the price point? Are there any premiums? What's the guarantee? And then along those lines, what can we add to make it an even better offer? That's something else I'll usually think about, and if appropriate, then ask. Yeah, so I'm just digging for ideas and trying to understand the context, the greater whole of what it is we're doing.
Kristen said, I learned so much. It's been so helpful. Thank you, G. All the behind the scenes. Yes. Chad said, you're listening, not fumbling with your pre-written music. Yes. And it's very, very obvious when somebody isn't listening in one of these calls. I'll tell you that. So.
Well, yeah, you don't want to be in your head. That's the last thing. Like, you shouldn't be panicking, like, oh my gosh, what should I ask? Because then you're missing the whole point. You're trying to hear what they're saying. That they're not interviewing you, you're interviewing them. And so your job is it's just like using ChatGPT, except you have a human in front of you. And you're like, okay, that question didn't work. Let me try asking it this way. Maybe if I ask it this way, they'll give me a story that would work for this part of the promo. Because in my head, I have an idea of what a promo framework is, or what would work for this particular audience. So I might be like, how do I coax that information out of them? And so it's just like using ChatGPT in many ways.
I feel like you also often ask what got the expert into that in the beginning, because sometimes then it gets them like passionate about it, or there might be like something of interest that might make other people want to go into this certain thing because of the reason they got into it, type of thing.
Yeah, the hero origin story, because there's, if you know Joseph Campbell and that whole hero's journey, it's an effective framework, right? So why not see if there's a story you could use in that framework? Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't, but you won't know until you ask and listen.
Yeah. Love that. Lydia said, thank you, G and Jade. Mini course has been super useful.
Good.
And gosh, last week, that was a lot. That wasn't even mini to me. That was like full blown. So I'm very impressed with the amount everybody managed to download, absorb, input into ChatGPT and upload into Facebook. So Nicole's also saying thank you. And Nolan, yes, fountain of information, especially thank you, because without the initial class, I probably wouldn't have been experimenting with ChatGPT. I love that.
Good.
Lots of thank yous. So thank you, G. Any final words before you part? Final
words for you guys. Just be curious, keep learning. Don't stop here. Let this just be the beginning. Don't be like, okay, I took that class. I know it all. Because it's just going to keep evolving. And if you don't keep evolving with it, it's going to leave you behind. So yeah, just keep learning, be curious. And as far as learning, not just digital marketing, start there, but where does your curiosity take you? Because if you're into gardening, maybe something you learn from gardening about how to grow carrots can apply to what you're writing in copy. You don't know until you make that connection. And that's what creativity is.
Love it. Well, more from us soon, but have a great evening, everybody. Afternoon, night, wherever you are. Thank you so much, G.
All right. See you guys. Bye.